Oh boy. Are we live? Let me see here. Okay, so the setup that I'm using right now is really peculiar because I have I have the main thing set up on my computer, but then my laptop is the thing that's actually streaming. And so, oh, hi Racecar, how are you doing? How is everything going with you? I'm having really weird technology stuff right now because I have to look at two computers at once in order for the live stream to function. Yeah, how are you? Let me put that in the background. Okay. Okay, everything seems to be in order now. Now I can read the chat on one screen, and now I can stream from over here. Yeah. I don't know exactly why I started this live stream. I was studying through the rest of the kanji, and then I just decided, okay, I guess I should live stream now. I recently got wet from a passing storm, but now I'm inside warm and dry. Nice. I always like going out in the rain and then getting wet. There's something very comfy and methodical about it, just like being outside and being wet and taking in that environment, looking at how pretty it is, and then coming in to, get warm. It feels like you're more relaxed after that. Like you came in from this struggle, and then when you come in, it feels like you're in a comfy place. And I think part of that is like something about putting a blanket on, like a comfy blanket, reminds us of childhood because we kind of associate those memories with that universal human thing of getting a blanket when you're a kid, and then there's just something about it, man. 100% agree. Very comfy. Nice. You see. Maybe I can pull something out. I have Counter-Strike on here, but it just doesn't work properly. Do you know the YouTuber Hiding in My Room? Yes, I've watched Hiding in My Room since 2017? Mid-2017, around that point. I've watched Hiding in My Room for a while. I'm a big fan of his content. Okay, let's pull out the real guns here. I keep getting compared to Hiding in My Room. People always leave comments and they tell me, "Oh, you're the new Hiding in My Room." I don't understand it. Oh, that's right. I can't get the game to work on this computer. Some people compare you to him. What do you think of that? I mean, I think it's fine. Our content is similar in the sense that we both have very honest videos that go into very personal areas, and so I don't really mind being compared to him. I like his videos. I think his videos are fun. I don't like a lot of his newer stuff, like the videos he was doing about the Turkish girl and stuff. I think I think he's kind of mean to these women that he gets with. Like, he always seems to be this person who, has very high standards, and if those standards aren't met, he seems like he just acts kind of rude and condescending to these girls that he gets with. And I don't know, man. Let's see. Please use a keyframe frequency for 4 seconds or less. Currently, keyframes are not... Okay, what is going on? Is it because I'm downloading something in the background? Okay, is the live stream still working, everyone? Is it... You can still see it? But yeah. I'm assuming you can still hear me. But yeah, okay, cool, you can hear me. But I feel like he's really disrespectful towards the people he's with. Where, I've had a similar experience where, I've had trouble really being passionately in love with someone. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna treat them like garbage because of that. Like, he just makes these videos exposing people and stuff. And like, I had a friend a while back, and he told me, oh, can you delete all of these podcasts we did with each other, because I would like you to do that. Now, this guy isn't even my friend anymore. He contacted me several months after we stopped being friends. And so I said, sure, I'm going to private all of those podcasts for the sake of your privacy. Because even though me and him had a falling out, I still had a sense of respect for him. So I did the right thing and I preserved his privacy. I have a feeling that Daniel would not do that. I don't think, unless Daniel had like legal action put against him, that he would actually preserve the privacy of other people. I think that's the difference between me and him, is that like, we both like spending a lot of time alone, and are generally pretty introverted. I think not to like toot my own horn or sound like, oh, I'm a good person or whatever. I think I generally care more about other people than he does. I get sad when I see other people are sad. You know, I try to do the right thing towards other people. I think that's the difference. If you could give him advice and he would do what to tell him to do, what would you say to him? That's a hard question. Oh man. I would say to try and seek healthy connections, and to try and see like a therapist who can understand his upbringing and do like psychoanalysis and stuff, and like try and get into the bones of why he is this way. Because if you understand why something's happening, then it's going to be easier to fix it. And so yeah, I would say to try and find more healthy social connections, because I think that's his main problem, is that like, of course you're going to be sad when you don't have anyone you connect with, and when you don't feel like you have a purpose. I would also probably tell him to smoke weed and see how that helps, to see if it does help. There's a lot of studies pertaining to marijuana that say that it can actually raise empathy levels, because the oxytocin in your brain goes up. And so I don't know, that might help. Meditation, he should probably meditate. Like, meditation has helped me a lot in generally just like being more happy. So yeah, I would tell him, seek meaningful connections, see a therapist, meditate, and smoke weed. That's like the advice I would give everybody, to be honest. Is that everyone should have a garden of people who they feel like they can connect with. A serial killer, oh no. I don't think hiding in my room would kill anybody. I think he's too afraid of going to jail for that. I think he just wants to be able to get his day-to-day pleasures, and I think that's probably why he's so sad, is that he's just focused on the day-to-day pleasure, like, how can I make myself satisfied in the moment, when those desires are just going to lead you to wanting more things. You're not going to have a fulfilling life if you're just thinking about pleasure and desires in the moment. You have to have a bigger goal. You have to think about, you know, who am I going to be in 10 years, and how are people going to view me because of that? He seems like the type of guy where if he did know what causes his behaviors, he would be pleased by just knowing that and be too lazy to fix his brain chemical shit. Yeah, I don't know, because I would feel bad, like, predicting what he's gonna do, because I feel like that's, I don't know, like, I don't like predicting what other people are gonna do, even if they are bad people in my opinion, which Daniel is a bad guy in my opinion. Being an introverted guy, where do you get contacts for weed? What you have to do is have a cousin, or have, you know, somebody who's like your same age, who, you know, is in your family who does it, or go on dating apps, or just like meetup apps and things like that, and meet people in your area because of that. You kind of just have to force yourself to go to other people. That's what I would guess, quote unquote. That's what I would assume. is that you have to you have to use a very specific website called Meetup, and then find people that way. This is all alleged, by the way. But yeah, like, I don't know. I think everyone at their core wants to be happy. I think everyone wants to do well. It's just that, like, because Daniel's 30 years old, you know? This dude is 30 years old. He's been doing this for so long. Now, I remember when I found him in 2017, when I watched his videos on in Taiwan, and one of the videos he made was he was saying, I've got to get a job, I have to make something of myself. That's when he used to think he had a chance, but I think he doesn't believe that anymore. I don't think he believes he has a chance, and so I think he's just given up on being better in any way. And so he's at this stage in his life where, like, he just keeps getting worse, because I feel like the ship has sailed for him. Like, he had a time where he could have gotten better, he just didn't apply the right things. Because to me, when I look at this, I'm like, dude, you could have Googled this stuff 20 years ago. Someone asked Daniel to make a video only speaking in Japanese. He refused to do that, so will you do that in the future? Yeah, I'd be totally willing to do that. Right now I'm focusing mainly on comprehensible input, because I'm using Stephen Krashen's method for language learning, which, if you don't know who Stephen Krashen is, he basically came up with the input hypothesis. And so, oh yeah, I'll put subtitles on there. But he came up with the input hypothesis. And so before you start speaking, you're actually supposed to do lots and lots of comprehensible input first. And so, you know, when I start worrying about pitch accent and stuff and getting good at speaking, that's going to be a lot later down the line in my language learning journey. Like right now, I'm just focused on learning how to read and learning how to understand the language. I'm not focused on speaking at all, because input tends to be the most important thing, and learning how to understand what you're getting input from. Have you ever heard of LangFocus? Yes, I'm a big fan of LangFocus. I like his videos where he breaks down the history of certain languages. Like, his video on Portuguese and Arabic was really interesting, because he just was like, oh yeah, all of these words are shared by these two languages, and it was really interesting. He's very good. Let's play level 2. Wait, no, I don't have level 2 unlocked on this account. He made a video about the complexity of kanji. I don't think I've actually seen that video. I should watch it. The way that I'm learning kanji right now is I'm using James Heisig's Remembering the Kanji, which is based on a language learning method called mnemonics. And so basically I make a story out of all of the characters that I'm learning, and then I connect the primitive elements to other characters. And so it makes it easier to remember. I would say at this point I know about roughly 60 kanji. There's a couple that I have trouble with remembering because they look similar to other characters. So it makes it a bit harder to figure them out. Like, I keep getting the kanji for 1000 mixed up with the, what is it called here? I need to find the name, because it has a weirdly specific name. Let me see here. I'm opening the book, by the way, in another tab so I can find it. Bound Up, that was the name. Okay, so the kanji for... Actually, I can probably just pull it up on this computer. Let me close out... Yeah, the kanji for Bound Up basically looks like a rope. It looks like... So it has a dot, and then it goes... one to the side and then one down, and it looks like a hook kind of. But the kanji for 1,000, basically looks like the letter T with or a lowercase t with an extra how do I explain visuals in words? With an extra line on top, essentially. And so I always get those two mixed up because they look very similar to each other. And so there's certain ones that I just have to keep repeating over and over again. Like the kanji for 10,000, for example, it's just 1,000 but with a hook in it. It looks so similar that it's hard to remember. Or the kanji for beginning, it's just 2 lines, and then the kanji for human legs, or the primitive for human legs. And so I have to remember 2 lines and then human legs. Like, in order to remember that's beginning, you have to think of it like in a biblical sense of like, okay, it began with 2 legs or something. There's certain ones that are just so abstract, or they look so similar to other characters that it's difficult. Let's see, play Hollow Knight or Mark of the Ninja in the future. I actually don't like Hollow Knight very much, to be honest. But that's just my personal stance. Like, it's not my type of game. I don't like the art style very much. And so I'm not a huge fan. I've never heard of Mark of the Ninja. There's so many people giving him good advice before he does something stupid. It's heartbreaking as a longtime viewer. Yeah, like I said, I found him in 2017, and so it is pretty sad to see that he used to be kind of normal. Like, that's the thing. Like, let me look through here, because the first video I watched of hiding in my rooms was Why I Hate Living in Japan. And I think that was the way a lot of people were introduced to him. And I thought it was so funny. Like, he was self-aware and sarcastic. He talked about, oh, this goddamn bacon, call blimey, and all this other stuff. Like, it's just silly. It was a silly video. And then you watch his videos talking about, like, social anxiety and stuff, and it felt like he was like a down-to-earth guy who just had some problems. And now he's just gone full sociopath, It's so sad to see him going down this road, and like, people give him advice, he just doesn't follow it. Look at this. The last video he does is, my love doll gave me a urinary tract infection. Like, you could have predicted this. There's at least some way of predicting this. Like, he makes these shitty James Charles videos. List of reasons why I'm an awful human being. Like, something is wrong when you have to make a video literally making a list of why you're a bad person. Like, why don't you learn Chinese? I actually want to learn Chinese eventually. The reason I'm learning Japanese first is because I'm more interested in Japanese culture. I'm a big weeaboo. I like manga and anime and stuff because, I've watched it since I was like a little kid. And so it's some of my favorite shows. And so I want to be able to read manga that isn't translated, or just read it in its native form. I really like the sound of the language a lot as well. I think it's beautifully structured. I love writing the characters, which Chinese has as well. And so I think, like, after I get fluent in Japanese and I can write, proficiently, I wanna start learning Chinese as well, because Chinese is also really cool. I love the tones. Korean? I'd love to learn Korean as well. Like, I know I'm getting kind of ambitious with wanting to learn all these languages, but it's just fun. Like I've been having a bomb learning Japanese for these last couple days. Like, I wake up at about 7:30, sometimes 6, 5, and the first thing I do is I do my flashcards. I do my SRS repetition in Anki, and then I write down new kanji characters from James Heisig's book. and then I start doing sentence mining in Anki as well. And so it's just like the first thing I do every day. I think that's a good sign, is that when it's the first thing you do every day, it shows that you really care about what you're doing. Like, I haven't wanted to do anything else for a while now, just because I've been so addicted to learning this language. It's like a game. It's just fun. Be careful, the more you learn, the less exotic it sounds, which can be discouraging. Yeah, I've heard a couple people talk about that before, where, like, my goal is to be able to understand it and for it to be less exotic. Like, my attraction to the language isn't that it's, like, exotic and foreign and stuff. I just want to be able to understand it. And so, like, the more kanji that I can read, for example, the more it feels natural to me. And so, because it feels more natural to me being able to read that, like, I feel excited and proud because it shows that I made progress. And so it's about perspective. Like, if you have a good perspective on something, then you're going to feel good about it. If you have a bad perspective, then it's going to be harder to deal with. There's, like, I'm looking at these videos, like, he makes, like, I cheated on my wife, what's on the SD card and stuff. Like, I think I have depression. He made this video, and I feel like this is just for attention, because if you go back, he made a video called Let's Talk About Depression a while back, and then it's like, my wife physically assaulted me. Like, that, literally, like, if you watch the video, and then if you look at the video he posted later, which he deleted, called Proof My Wife Beats Me, like, it's just her, like, playing around. Like, she's not even, like, hitting him or anything. Like, he's obviously stronger than this woman. It's stuff like this where it feels like it's for attention. And it's, I don't know. Like, around this point was when I started watching his videos, was, where he was talking about, like, my experience living in South Korea, how I learned Japanese. Yeah, it was... Oh, I remember when this vlog actually came out, this night shift at the petrol station. This one was really fun. I remember watching this when it came out. Oh my god. 2017. This is from March. Wow. Time really flies, man. Time flies so much. Man, now I've gone down that hiding in my room rabbit hole. But yeah, I'm open to learning Korean and Chinese later. I also want to learn Russian, because I really, really love the way Russian sounds. I think there's a lot of Russian songs which are very romantic and pretty, and I think the Cyrillic alphabet is very logical. Like, I like the Cyrillic alphabet a bit more than I like the Latin alphabet, because it looks cool, and some of the sounds it makes, like, you have sounds for eat kratke and stuff. Like, it's just strange sounds, or like you have, like, zh. It's a sound that you can write in Russian. It's like, these sounds, we just don't have them in English. It's so cool. My favorite video is when he visited his hometown in England and he argued with his mom about going to the petrol station because he used to work there. Yeah, I saw that video as well. Is that his mom and him were just sitting there yelling, and then his wife was in the back of the car, and she's just like, yeah, I'm over here, you know. I don't think she understood most of it, but, like, I was thinking about that, because Japanese culture, a lot of it is you're supposed to respect your elders and stuff, and, like, I imagine for her, you know, looking at him yelling at his mom like this, and, like, seeing that he had no tact about it, it probably felt really weird for her, because, you know, being a Japanese person, she would have had to think about the honorifics in her society. So, like that's another example, like I was saying earlier, is that, like, the difference between me and him is that if I were in that situation, I would not have been yelling at my mother, because she's older than me. Therefore, there's a level of respect that I have to show. And it's not like I haven't yelled at my mom before, everyone has, but the difference seems to be that I make an active, what's the word? I've been looking at so much Japanese, I'm forgetting English. Uh, what is... I work actively to do it. I try. I try not to say those things when I get mad. And it seems like Daniel just goes at it. Like, even when you're an adult, your parents are always going to be a certain number of generations older than you, which means you have to show them respect. It's the right thing to do. Like, there's a reason hierarchies like this exist. It's because if someone has had more experience than you, they've experienced more pain, and so on. It doesn't automatically make them right, but it means that you have to wait your time to speak. If you're not given your time to speak, then you should not speak, because that person is older than you, therefore they speak first, and you have to listen to them. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but speaking when you're not allowed to is wrong, because they're several generations older than you, and like, when he takes it to this level of just like yelling at his mom, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? It's so strange. But I think that video was interesting to watch because it feels like real life. Like, I think that's why I watch Daniel's videos to this day, is that even though he is a bad guy, in my opinion, it always feels like I'm getting a peek into his existence. That's why I call him one of my favorite YouTubers still, is because it feels like I'm watching his life from the sidelines, and I'm getting like an authentic experience of it. So I think that's one of the main values of his content. And also, you can learn from it. You can watch his videos and go, okay, I shouldn't do these certain things because, I may end up this way. So I think it's good as a learning experience as well. What other games do I have on here? I could play... I could open up the Saturn emulator and play Magic Knight Rayearth. Let me see here. Where do I even have the Saturn emulator? I've got everything jumbled up on here. Let me see here. Okay, it's in here somewhere. Yabase, there it is. Open ISO. Okay, we can play Castlevania. Let me see if if it's showing up on the live stream though. Is it working? Oh no, it's not showing up. This is what I hate about OBS, is that if I try to like use something in full screen, it just won't work oftentimes. I don't know why it does this. It just messes up. Do any of you have more questions, more things to give me to talk about? Because I kind of just shot from the hip with this one. I didn't actually come in knowing what to say. If any of you want to ask something, go ahead. Cetra 3DS emulator. The 3DS emulator probably won't work on this computer, because this computer is pretty bad. It was given to me by an old friend of mine, and she she said, okay, you can have the computer. It's probably not going to work very well. It had Windows 10 on it installed, but it ran very slow, constantly crashed. I had to put it on a fan just to make it work basic functions, because if you even slightly moved the computer, it would oftentimes crash. And so I installed Linux on here, and programs run better with Linux, because Linux generally is better optimized to run things at a better speed. And it's good at resource management and stuff, especially because with the version of Ubuntu that I'm using LXDE, which basically makes it to where a lot of the functions of Ubuntu are even faster. And so, like, even then, though, it's still a bad computer, and so it's difficult to get it to work with more advanced things like a 3DS emulator. I don't think some of my messages are getting through the long ones. Yeah, the last message of yours that was posted was which can be discouraging, and I have the live chat opened too. So it's all messages should be visible. They're just not showing up. What do you think about constructed languages like Esperanto and Dothraki? I don't think there's any point in learning them if you're not going to use them to experience talking to other people or you know, watching things, reading things. Like, I don't see a point in learning them. Like, they just seem kind of weird. Like, I kind of compare it to people who are sitting on a hill and they just want to look better than everybody else because they're able to do this one thing that a lot of people aren't able to do. But then when you look at it and you look at what it is functionally, it doesn't do anything. It's just a status symbol. Like, it's just made up. There's no practical usage of it whatsoever. And so if there's not a practical usage of it, I don't see a point in learning it. For the people who like it, for the people who just like building their own language, go ahead, because it's what you enjoy. But I feel like a lot of it is just a little bit weird and kind of useless. Hey, Starman. Hey, what's up, element of naivety? Getting good at Nippon speak. I'm not particularly good at it. I'm just like at the beginner stage. Like, I can only comprehend like a few rough sentences. I'm not good at necessarily interpreting what's being spoken. But I'm getting better at reading the language. I've learned about 62 kanji at this point. Out of the 70 that I've written, there's a couple ones that are pretty difficult for me to remember because I get them mixed up with other ones, and so I've just been going back through the same ones again and again. And so I think I've been doing okay, but it's one step at a time. Like, I'm obviously not good yet, but it's about just getting up and doing it every day. You know, little by little, you'll get better. I said I found Daniel during the Tomoko arc. I swear it felt like finding a gem of the internet. Now it has molds. Yeah, like, I never found him during the Tomoko arc, but, like, a lot of those videos are deleted now. Like, he just took them off of his channel, and, I knew a couple people who had said they found him during the Tomoko arc, and they talked about it like it was this sacred era. Is N and M in Japanese similar? I would say it's a little bit similar, but you just have to make sure to not get them mixed up. Like, phonetically speaking, the way that Japanese works is that all of the sounds are based off a very basic template. So it goes a, I, U, E, O, you know? And then you just add other letters to that. So you get like ka, ki, ku, ke, ko, sa, shi, su, se, so. You know, it just keeps going like that. So for every single letter that you can think of, you just apply that basic sound template to it, and the sounds always stay the same. The sounds never change. And that's one of the things that makes Japanese, in terms of like pronunciation, a little bit easier than English, is that in English, when we write words, we change the rules all the time. Sometimes sounds are this, sometimes they're that. And the reason we know them is because of intuitive knowledge. We've just read them or heard them so many times that we know about them, but a lot of us don't even know the grammar rules for our own language because that's intellectual knowledge. And so, like, part of learning Japanese isn't just to understand the grammar and so on an intellectual level. It's being exposed to it so many times that you just intuitively understand it. But what's great about it is that the rules stay consistent. So it's in terms of rules, it's pretty easy, and in terms of intuitively understanding it, you just have to get as much input as possible. I haven't actually seen that many videos from the Tomoko arc. I just know some stuff happened. She's like a mom or something. I don't even know that much about it, to be honest. I know she had her own YouTube channel, and the mods of the Hiding in My Room subreddit seem to talk about her a lot, but I never looked in depth. I was looking on the Hiding in My Room subreddit like a week or two ago, because someone posted me on there, and I was looking through some of the posts, and there were these people talking about there were these, what was it called? They were talking about the Turkish girl talking to Chihiro or something, and I was like, what is going on? What is this clash of the titans here? This Avengers assembling of Daniel's ex-girlfriends. Finally, I've caught a stream. Hey, what's up? It's the guy who always comments on my videos, who has the Doomer avatar. Adult daughter and husband. Oh wow, yeah. That arc, that sounds like a spicy arc right there. I don't even know certain parts of the Daniel lore, to be honest, because I haven't watched all of his videos. Like, I don't sit around and just watch entire YouTube channels the way that I used to. Because back when I first got on YouTube, I used to just watch entire channels. Anti-Daniel, Hiding in My Room, Pro-Daniel, Daniel HMR. Oh my god, there's a war of subreddits. They're against each other. This is not okay. Yeah, like, I remember seeing, the weird thing is, okay, I've seen myself posted on r/Hiding in My Room, and I've seen myself posted on Daniel HMR. I've somehow been posted on both. This is not okay. This should not happen. I don't know why. I don't know why people have found it intriguing to compare me to Daniel. I'm waiting for the gay arc. Yeah, that it's gonna come soon, man. You just wait. It's gonna come soon. His next video is gonna be my promiscuous relationship with James Charles. Let's just wait here. He's gonna use it for the clickbait. He's gonna be like, alright, James Charles, I have the YouTube clout. I just bought an entire loan of $1 million, man. A small loan. Come on, let's do this thing. And then he's gonna make a YouTube video out of it and then expect for it to blow up. And then that's how he's gonna pay his $1 million back. It's weird how the live stream, the dashboard for the live stream says bad video settings and that the live stream is in bad health, but everyone seems to be able to hear it, so that's what I'm confused about. Can you put comments on the screen and not just the chat box? Because I feel like some of the messages aren't getting through to you. Okay. Yeah, I have to open it up. I'm gonna log into YouTube on... Oh, wait, I pressed the wrong one. I'm gonna log into YouTube on this computer, and then I will get the chat box up on here. Yeah, the last message you sent was the anti-Daniel thing. I didn't see anything else get posted. Maybe YouTube just doesn't like you very much. Let me see. If I make you a moderator, it might be able to show you your messages might be able to be sent. So I'm gonna trust you, alright? I'm gonna trust you to be a moderator, and then, there you go. You're a moderator now. You should be able to post. No, what do you mean no? Okay, I'll take it away. You aren't a moderator anymore. Okay, what kind of man doesn't want to be a moderator? Absolutely disgusting. I'm now drunk. POWAA. Okay, I see why I shouldn't have made you a moderator. Let me see here. It takes me every single time on my laptop. I always have to log in to YouTube or like any other account that I go into, because on Firefox, what I've done is that I've literally made it to where it can't save any of my passwords, and I have all this like VPN stuff going on, and I don't know why I do this. Like, internet privacy doesn't matter that much, but I take so many precautions. When I was 15, I used to be really into internet privacy. Um, I on Power. Yeah, no, I saw it the first time. Um, Never save passwords in browsers. It's not safe. Yeah. Um, yeah, I used to be really into to internet privacy when I was 15. So I had like PeerBlock, and I had a VPN that I bought through Tor. Is that what I did was that I used Bitcoin. I used Bitcoin to buy my VPN on Tor, and then that way, my ISP did not know that I had a VPN because I used the non-traceable currency through Tor to get it. And so I would do like a lot of my more serious internet traffic by leaving footprints essentially through Firefox. Is that I had Firefox, I would leave normal internet footprints. I didn't save any passwords or anything like that. But I did everything without the VPN that way. But if I wanted to go on image boards, or if I wanted to, post somewhere more anonymously, not be known, I would turn on the VPN, turn on PeerBlock, and then go into Tor and do it that way. Mr. Robot got a bit disappointing in the last season. I haven't been keeping up with Mr. Robot. I watched the first season when it came out on television, and then I haven't paid attention since then. I stole my passwords locally using KeepPassX. Oh, Store. Okay. Yeah, I should install that program. Mr. Robot Master Hacker Man, huh? Oh god, I wish. I barely know how to use computers, man. But I was really into internet privacy and stuff back then. I still kind of am. It's just like, I don't go to the Arizu-chan threads, or the Lane-chan threads, where they always talk about keeping private on the internet. I remember, oh my god, I remember going on Arizu-chan in the summer of 2018. Used to be so good. You are more tech literate than the vast majority of people. That's honestly kind of sad. Like, I wish more people were into computers and stuff. Like I don't even know that much, and I somehow know more than most people. It's like, I wish more people would learn about computers, because like AI and stuff, it's gonna replace us. It's gonna, man. People need to wake up, honestly. Aren't Arizu-chan and Lane-chan Lane cultist LARPers? There's definitely LARPers on there. And a lot of the like weird transgender stuff that they post, I'm not super into. But like the LARPing isn't too bad, honestly. It's okay. There we go. I got the chat open. People on there generally share good information, and I think they do care about the stuff that they're talking about. But there are definitely LARPers. Well, majority don't have access to clean drinking water. Yeah, that is true. That's one of the tragedies, is that like some of the most resource-rich countries in the world are in Africa, and they're also the ones who don't have very much water. Like Congo would be like the richest country in the world if they just had rationally allocated their resources, instead of being having their resources divvied up by foreign companies. The only reason I can navigate every nook and cranny of my computer is because I installed and edited Minecraft mods when there weren't good mod loaders. Oh, wow. That's really cool, man. I wish I got into Minecraft mods back in the day. Actually, I don't even remember how to do that now. Delete my death. Most of Asia, too. Yeah, no, there is a lot of Asia that doesn't have clean drinking water, especially in, like, the Middle East, like, places like Yemen and Brunei and stuff like that. Most of that is actually just because of Saudi Arabia. It's literally the most evil government on earth, man. People need to wake up in the US. Man, I talk to these liberals and conservatives alike, and they all love Saudi Arabia. And it's like, dude, you know you're praising literally the people who funded ISIS, dude. Come on. Now, the reason a lot of these places don't have water is just because of Saudi Arabia trying to have influence over these governments, going to war and so on. China and North Korea knocks on your door. I mean, I don't think North Korea is trying to do anything. Like, they're just trying to survive at this point. Like, they build weapons because they're always at threat of having their country be toppled. And so I don't think they have a goal of blowing anybody up. They just use it as a deterrent. Israel does the same thing, although they're a bit more warmongering. In a lot of countries, they use weapons just to have a deterrent. China is expanding more. Like, there could be a real threat of them actually going to war with Taiwan, which would be, you know, not the best course of action to take, to put it lightly. But I think China's more focused on building things. Like, if you look at, like, the Belt and Road Initiative, for instance, it's just building infrastructure everywhere, you know? That's the type of thing people need, is to build things. I should play... let me see. I could open Mind Test right now. So I don't want to... Let's see. Couldn't disagree more. Most of Asia is still at the point where running water and proper governments are a pipe dream. These are places where they have nothing to their name besides their religion. I didn't disagree that a lot of places in Asia don't have water. I didn't disagree about that. Besides their religion, and it's a faith that runs deep, nations like Cambodia or Bhutan are already dangerously unstable. Trying to push places like that into accepting gay marriages is sort of thing that causes civil wars, and it's never a pretty sight. Well, I mean, Bhutan is generally pretty accepting of gay people on a cultural level. But yeah, like, I don't think you should ever push other countries into having a social system that you believe in, because that's imperialism. You know, that's pushing other people to be more like your country, which is empire building, and every country should have the right to self-determination. Isn't China doing that to gain more influence over countries? Yeah, like, a lot of it definitely is partly to gain influence, but at the same time, like, if you look at it on a material level, like, what they're doing is helping other people in the sense that it's building infrastructure. So if you're building infrastructure in other countries, that's ultimately going to help the people. Even though economically it does benefit China, it also benefits those people in that country. So it's a everyone wins type of strategy. But yeah, I don't think other countries should be forced into accepting gay marriages or being like us, because what gives us the right to force another country to be a certain way? That's not our land. It's not our tradition. And so if that isn't our land, why are we forcing the people who the land belongs to be a certain way? I think that's wrong. But I don't think Bhutan, like, the reason Bhutan is unstable is because it's a landlocked country, and so it's landlocked in between India and China, and both of those countries want that land for geopolitical reasons. The thing with Cambodia is just that, like, they've had so many different wars and so on because other powers have tried to occupy them. Like when the CIA and the government of Margaret Thatcher and the government of Deng Xiaoping had funded Pol Pot in, or the Khmer Rouge as it's commonly known in Cambodia, led to, you know, mass genocides just because they wanted to contain Vietnam. They didn't want Vietnam and the Soviet Union to fund a revolution in Cambodia, so they picked this genocidal guy to be their friend. You know, Margaret Thatcher in particular did some very egregious things in order to help Pol Pot. It was pretty fucked up. She also, you know, protected literal pedophiles in her administration. Not a very good person. But yeah, like there a lot of these countries, the reason they have resources, like Cambodia has resources. It's just that it's these decades of civil war and stuff is caused by foreign powers, and so foreign powers should just get out. It's not our land. We should just get out. I know that places like the Philippines, my parents' homeland, have a strange acceptance of gay people while also having a huge set of cliches they expect gays to fill, to the point at which gay people in media are completely isolated from the average gay person. Yeah, like, those cliches are gonna exist where people don't have the internet and where people don't typically talk to, you know, people who are this way. Where, like, I've known a lot of people who were totally unaccepting of oh, okay, he says politics is uncomfy, re. Yeah, if you don't want to talk about politics, we can talk about something else. But yeah, basically my point is that as long as they accept them, I think that's good. You know, you should just be accepting of people who come into your life. Every culture has its own thing going on. We shouldn't be, you know, disrespectful of other people's culture unless it's literally leading to, you know, mass amounts of people dying and so on. Yeah, but politics, I don't usually like talking about politics on live stream. It's just that people people will bring it up and then the conversation keeps going. See, he says Mohammed Abdullah says hello. Yeah, hello. I300 or I330, excuse me. Do you have a better topic? Do you have something you can ask me? I kind of turned on this stream and just winged it. Like, I didn't actually come in with anything to say. I just kind of turned on the live stream. My messages were not showing in the video, but in chat box. Okay, I can make you mod again. Okay, now you're a moderator of this channel, so they should be able to show now. Which one is the camera? It is camera is this one, right? Wait, no, that's not camera. How is LXDE going? I would say it's going okay. I don't like it as much as I like the layout for Lubuntu. So I feel like this one is a little bit too lightweight, but otherwise I think it's okay. See, the one for camera is this one, I believe, right? Okay, there it is. There we go. Okay. Now it's working. Now it's working properly. Yeah, I've been otherwise I have if you've seen the movie House, I have the house background for my phone. But I've been sitting here, I've been using this app called Anki, where I just sit here and I find a kanji character like this, and then I figure out which one it is. This one, I'm looking at it backwards right now. I'm assuming this is, okay, so that's texture, okay. Yeah, because this is comprised of flesh and then wind, which makes the texture. Remember when a Christian woman was found innocent in Pakistan and released from death row and people riot? I don't want to talk about politics, man. I'm taking a hardline stance. No politics. No politics. It's like, yeah, like obviously Sunni Wahhabism is bad. No one disagrees with that. Everyone thinks it's bad. But yeah, no politics. Finally, I sent that like 6 times and it just showed. Oh, okay. Okay. I see. See, this kanji character is bound up and day or sun. So which one is that? Have I seen this one? Oh, it's Decramon. Okay. Or a 10-day period, because the people are bound up in that day. Number 1. Easy. It just looks like a line. Generation. Is it? Yes, generation, comprised of 3 kanji for 10. Censorship intensifies. Oh no, yeah, I'm starting to censor people. I'm censoring on my live stream. Oh no. I'm gonna get called out, man. They're gonna come for me. So what can I do as a mod? I don't know. What do you want to do as a mod? No, I'm talking about YouTube. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, the YouTube does do that. If they find things that they think are like controversial or you shouldn't talk about, they're gonna censor it. I know it's just it's so weird. Like there was a point where they would censor like people, talking very clearly like racist stuff. But now it's just like if you just have an opinion on a political topic, they'll censor it. Or if you like use violent words like death and kill and stuff, they might censor it. And I don't think it's a healthy environment for discussion, because the point of YouTube is people can come together and talk about things, share their experience, but now, it's gotten so commodified. You can also try learning the kanji by learning the radicals. Sometimes they make sense like inside and meet. It can be useful when you have never seen the kanji. Oh, cool. Thank you. Let's see. Do you want kids? I don't know. I think I'm too young to figure out if I want kids or not. I don't really know if I want to be married, because if I was married to somebody, I would have to love them. And it's generally very difficult for me to feel romantic love. I just sit in my room, man. It's difficult for me to think that far into the future. But if like the meat has the kanji for inside and the kanji for human inside, it is hence meat. Oh, cool. So they connect with each other. Awesome. That's the type of thing that I like to use to help remember things. But if I had kids, I would have to be a lot more of like a healthy person. Like I would have to be someone who goes out there and gets things done. Someone who's responsible. I wonder if this message will get through YouTube. It just got through. Yeah, like, oh, Tiananmen Square Massacre, 1989. Yeah, it went through. Yeah, YouTube isn't being run by the Chinese yet, man. It's coming soon. They're already, CBS is doing self-censorship in order to not talk bad about, China. They're already doing it, man. YouTube is coming. It's, get ready. Get ready. We're gonna be living in 1984. This is the real reason I want to go to Japan. I'm all for free speech, but it's mostly kids on YouTube, so it's understandable because kids copy what adults do, but the execution is horrible. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, but at the same time, I think it should be the parent's responsibility to make sure the kid isn't looking at that stuff too early. The parent should have conversations with their kid about it. Don't just restrict the speech, because free speech is important. It's how we exchange ideas. The problem, yeah, I don't want to get too much into politics and stuff, but yeah, it should be the parent's job to restrict that thing. See, but I don't know. Having kids, it just, it's hard for me to think about, because there's a part of me that wants to adopt children. I don't ever want to have my own children, because I'm against birth. I think actually having your own kids is wrong. Bringing birth into the world, I think that's wrong. So I would like to adopt kids, because I think it would be an interesting experience to raise a child, and I would want to rescue a child. Because when I see all this, this suffering that happens with people who are orphaned, I see it as an opportunity to be able to help in some way. How can you manage to be a hiki neat as an adolescent in America? Like in England, it's a crime to not be in education if you're under 18. So the loophole that I used for a long time is that in America, you can be registered as homeschooled. And so, if you're homeschooled, then you don't really have to do any work. Like, there's not a standardized test that you have to take to prove to the government that you are doing your work. You just have to be there. And so a lot of the time you get these homeschooled kids in America, especially in places like Utah and Texas, where they get out of school for religious reasons, and then they just don't do their work. Like, when I was first getting into school, I did kindergarten and pre-K up until about 6th grade, although I was held back when I got into actual school, for entirely homeschool, because my heart condition made it difficult for me to go out and do things that were really exciting. And so I was always in the house, because if I moved too much, there was a potential of me going into tachycardia. And so I was homeschooled for that amount of time. I just didn't do my work because my parents didn't pay attention to it. And so I just didn't work. And then when I got into 8th grade, I was homeschooled again because I was constantly getting into fights in 7th grade. This is post-surgery, by the way. I already had my surgery by the time I got into school at about 12 and a half. And then in 9th grade, when I dropped out of high school, I got registered as a homeschooler again. But at this point, since I'm 17, it doesn't matter anymore. I don't have to be registered as anything because it's legal for me to not go to school at this point. After you turn 16, it's totally legal for you to just leave, and it doesn't matter at that point. That reminds me, have you read any Murakami books? I'm reminded of him because he wrote a lot of edgy student protest characters at one point in his life. I have... Actually, I can pull it out right now. I can just pull it out. Let me see here. It's in here somewhere. Is A Wild Sheep Chase. This book, I got recommended by a commenter to read this book. He told me something like, I think it was on my These Four Walls video, he commented if I'd read Murakami, and I said, no, I haven't read it, and he said, there's something like, be careful about reading books because you'll turn gay or something, and I was like, okay, I am in fact gay, or something like that. I responded something like that. And so, I bought the book because I saw that guy's comment, and I just haven't read it, but I do have a copy of it. Scar Exlerd goes hard. I don't know what that means. Listening to music can change your heartbeats. I mean, yeah. I don't know why it couldn't change your heartbeats. If something makes you excited, it'll change your heartbeat. Europeans have less kids than Africans on average. Pretty much says it all about parents being responsible. Yeah, like the thing with Africa is that people just have lots of kids there. Like they don't really have the education to plan ahead. They get raped or they get into forced marriage, and like there's all these different factors, and they don't have the education to make the proper choices that they should make. And so without that education being in place, they just have lots of kids, and it's a very nihilistic way of living. Tramp Stamp says, "Hey King." Yes, I'm the king of the neets. I rule over all of you. This is in fact my kingly chair that I use to bask in my own relevancy. They have a lot of kids in Africa also because of the infant mortality rate. Oh yeah, that is true. What I mean is the best of parents are the ones that adopt. Yeah, I think so too. Like, people who are willing to adopt are usually do a bit more research. There was a psychological study that was done, I can't remember what it was, about how people who adopt kids tend to put in more effort or something like that. Like, I wouldn't ever want to have a kid unless I knew I did my research on how to do it properly. Can I be the royal Vitzer? Yes. Also, DZ Dog, I'm gonna make you a mod, because you're a good man. Is this you? Let me see here. Okay, that one's mod. Yeah, DZ Dog is now a mod. You are now the royal Vitzer. Gotta have 6 kids just to survive. Yeah. Like it's one of those things where like they always say, "Oh, get up the birth rate. We gotta bring the birth rate up," and all this other stuff. But it's like, I don't know, man. There's a serious risk of the world overpopulating. I think it's time to not be having kids and stuff, because I worry about that. Like, I don't think most people think about how much the population has skyrocketed, and I don't think we have the resources for all these people, man. But all these places, they say, "Oh, you gotta get the birth rate up and stuff," and it's like, why? There's tons of people. 11 billion and oh my god, that's so scary. That's so scary, man. Yeah, don't have kids. Africans only. Yeah, they're the only ones allowed, man. I'm gonna grab the cord. Africans only. I have to move the laptop. Let me see here. Okay. Brown people only. Yeah, no, that's the world Theresa May and Barack Obama dream of, man. Let me see here. Let's see. To live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in suffering. That is true. Life equals suffering. On some level, yeah. Like Buddhism. Buddhism talks a lot about how that living kind of intrinsically is that, and the way that you overcome it is by trying to find inner peace and control in your mind. It's one of the reasons why I like meditation so much, is because, like, if you meditate consistently every day, then you're going to be able to find peace in your mind. You're going to be able to open up more control, and even though life is suffering, you have to find some level of control and meaning in it. And so I like Buddhism a lot because of that, because I think it acknowledges that, but it also gives you tools to work through it. Mida Gaitan, Gaitian. I don't know what this is a reference to. I feel like I just got pwned or something and I don't even know what it means. Let me see, what is going on over here? They're like interviewing people in the street on this TV show. So I don't know what's going on here. They're just interviewing people. So, talking about these dogs or something. Oh my god, that dog looks so cool. Look at him. Wow, No was right. You can't read. It's a pun on meditation. Okay. See, like, that's what I was explaining earlier on the live stream, is that there's a difference between intuitive and intellectual knowledge. Is that when it comes to English grammar, I know basically nothing about it, I know, like you couldn't tell me a single thing about English grammar. The reason why I understand how to read and understand the things that I'm hearing and get them grammatically correct is just because I've said them and heard them so many times. It isn't actually about understanding it on an intellectual level. Like, I don't understand English grammar at all. I don't even understand how things are spelled. I just spell them because I remember them. Like I said, like, I was homeschooled, so I didn't have a traditional a traditional way of learning it. Oh wow, it's Sadman Chronicles is in the chat. He's a nice guy. When did he rebrand? I seemed like a while ago he had rebranded his account. But I used to watch his videos back when they were on his channel. Oh my god, they're still talking about these dogs. These dogs have like the highest power level of anyone. Seriously, is there blacklisted words that I'm not supposed to write or something? What's causing this? Yeah, I don't know, man. I made you a mod. It should be able to, it should be able to let you talk. Maybe it's because your name is Mohammed. They expect that you're an ISIS guy. I removed the sad because I decided to stop fetishizing sadness. That's a good idea, man. So I think like Doomer and that type of thing is good to vent. It's a good way to express what it is that you're feeling through art and kind of sharing that feeling among other people. But when you make Doomer so much of your identity that you just fetishize the sad part of it, that's when it gets dangerous. So I think, like, obviously having it as an aesthetic is okay because it helps you express what it is that you're feeling. But if you start fetishizing it, it can get kind of dangerous, which is what I've seen on a lot of boards. I want to make happy videos eventually when I get the idea. Nice. Yeah, like I think there isn't enough real positivity on YouTube. People being genuine about how they feel. If they try to be positive, they, you know, usually it's like weird, fake, forced types of things. But I like seeing people who were like former doomers, you know, talk about being a bloomer and being in a better mood and stuff. So I feel like those people are always the ones who are the most genuine about it. I'll work with English, but if you're learning more complicated language, there'd be problems without intellectual knowledge. I think it. Oh, one sec here. I have to answer the door. This is what it's like living with other people. You have to go randomly get things. I'll be right back. Let me see. Let me see what I missed here. Let's see. Who needs a personality trait when you can be a doomer? Yeah, like, I think that's one of the main problems with the doomer movement, I guess you could say. Like, they just attach their whole identity to being a doomer. It's the same thing with anime fans and stuff. They say, oh, I'm an anime fan, I don't need to be anything else. So to address your point, like, I think English is actually more complicated than a lot of other languages. Like, eventually, if you just get the experience, and if you understand it intuitively, you know, if you just hear it enough times, it gets easier. Like, there's things that I've noticed in Japanese, for instance, that I did not learn through grammar. I just learned it through hearing it a bunch of times. It's all about cynicism on YouTube. Yeah, like, it's people, they just want to be cynical. Like if you look at my videos, for instance, when I was watching as I mod, I command you all to dox yourself in the vaguest way. Okay. But yeah, like, my videos, I always get the most views on the negative videos. If I make a negative video, people will much more likely click the like button and subscribe and give it more views. They'll share it places. Like, all of my most negative